Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
The Pan-African Pyramid show every Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. at Fairway Hotel. And this show runs on NBS television every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. Those are our partner sponsors, the Spy Uganda, Detective UG, Fairway Hotel. Your speaker is Andrew Irumba Katusabe. This time round, I am not at Fairway Hotel. I've actually been hosted at my comrade's home. I will not tell you the place exactly, but it's within Kampala. I've been hosted at his home. Dr. Kojo Ablode from Ghana. Dr. Kojo Ablode is a development expert, but he's also a Pan-African contemporary gentleman that actually talks a lot about Pan-Africanism. If you're looking for African philosophers, contemporary philosophers, Dr. Kojo Ablode is one of those. Thank you so much for giving an opportunity to meet you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Kojo, something has been disturbing me. You see, when they say you are independent for the sake of the countries, that's what they call sovereignty. You are independent. The sovereignty, you have the power to purchase anything, you have the power to offset anything, you have the power to let in and let out. You have the power to determine your own price of a commodity. Is Africa sovereign continent? Because America sits down there and sets prices for its products. America sits down there and sets prices for coffee that is coming from Africa. America sets prices for cotton that comes from Africa. America tells you your shilling must be measured against my dollar for you to know how heavy or light you are. So that's why today you see in Uganda, $1 is equivalent to 3,800 Uganda shillings. $1 of America is equivalent to shillings of Uganda, 3,800. So let's deal with this monster, sovereignty of Africa. Are we sovereign countries? And when we talk about sovereignty, in context, what do we mean? The things disturb me. Someone tells you we are sovereign countries. Actually, when they are arguing, but we are sovereign countries. When you hear them saying sovereign countries, then you hear America has announced we are sending 100 US mission peacekeepers in Congo. As you are still there, America has announced a $1 million donation to Uganda. But we are sovereign. You're supposed to ask me, Mr. Irumba, should I help you on this? Yes or no? No, here America orders. Now recently you had UK and America. They have put on sanctions to Ugandan speaker. When is Uganda going to put sanctions on American people? So let's first deal with this. Does this thing also disturb you?
Irumba, thank you for accepting to come to my home and thank you for the opportunity to discuss this topic of sovereignty. There are very many things we need to understand. And we have so many words that we don't seem to understand. But we use them.
Hey.
Yeah. We
have started abusing us.
Not that
you're saying
I'm just being honest with ourselves. We need to be honest with ourselves. Then we can understand our situations better. To your direct question, my direct response is Africa is not sovereign. It's not sovereign.
Africa is not sovereign?
No. The African people. When you're talking about sovereignty, you're talking about people. Because the land will not respond to anything that is done to it. But the people who come from Africa are not sovereign. Because what is sovereignty?
Sovereignty is the
whole concept of sovereignty started in 1648 at the Westphalia Peace, the signing of the Westphalia Peace Treaty. That peace treaty was signed between European states at the time, because there was an ongoing war within Europe. One lasted for 30 years, and the other one 10 years. So they were finding solutions as to mechanisms that would reduce interferences, and they met and they signed the Westphalia Treaty. The first principle of the Westphalian Treaty is the principle of non-interference. So the first pillar of sovereignty is non-interference. So if we are asking ourselves, if we in Africa, and with all these interferences that we have, and we get up and claim that we are sovereign, we are lying to ourselves.
So
Africa is simply not sovereign. We are not, because sovereignty is the absolute power and power, ownership, and control over your territory. Sovereignty is about territorial integrity, protecting your territorial integrity. Sovereignty is about you thinking for yourself, discussing your issues.
Not being pushed.
And
not being forced.
No interference.
Sovereignty is simply someone thinking for you.
Yes.
And deciding for you.
Yeah. Sovereignty is simply zero tolerance for interference. Is that happening anywhere in Africa? It's not. And I said it somewhere recently that to the extent that the Boers in South Africa, who majorly live in the Orange State, are demanding that the South African government allow them to create their own countries.
The Boers?
Yeah, to have their own country and have their own governance system on somebody's land.
Who are the Boers?
The Boers are the Europeans who are in South Africa. Yeah. They are not whites, by the way. These are Europeans. No, most of them are the Dutch, from Dutch Germany. We know where they come from. They are not Africans.
So they're asking for their own country.
They want to create their
within
own,
South Africa.
Exactly. That's an insult. That's how low our sovereignty has come. You get the point? Look at what happened in Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, when they said, French guys, get out of our homeland. And they said they will not go. That is how low our sovereignty has gone. They said their military bases should quit their space. And that is how low. And they said they will not go. That is how low. The French ambassador was in Mali or Burkina Faso to get out of the country, and he said he will not go until they withdrew his diplomatic immunity and ordered the police to look for him and arrest him and take him out of the country. That's how bad Africa's situation is when it comes to the issue of sovereignty. And sovereignty is not just the word, it has components, it has contents. We, before, like I said, it started with this Westphalia peace treaty. So in Europe, they tried to respect that non-interference. That is why the Germans don't go telling the French what to do with their education system. They don't go tell them what to do with their economy. The French will not go to England, to Britain, and start telling them what to do. The Westphalian agreement that brought about how states must be run in Europe at the time, because it was their problem. A war raging on for 30 years, and they had to find a solution. So when they sat, they were like, no, there should be no interference. Nobody should interfere in any other person. Until today, there is no interference by any European country in the other. They don't. They call it a European Union today. But have you ever heard the French president calling all other presidents to come before him for him to lecture them? It is not there.
It's happening in the leaders of Africa.
Yeah,
China calls them all, they go.
Yeah, everybody
America calls them also.
They just run there.
America calls them on, and
Even recently the Italian
Russia calls them and
the
they
Italian
go.
Prime Minister.
Just the Prime Minister.
Yeah, and they all went. Are you getting it? So the issue of sovereignty, needs to be addressed, and the African Union for me is the roadblock to Africa's development.
No, it's not the roadblock. It's the cornerstone. That's the solution. I thought African Union is giving solution to that.
I want you
sovereignty.
I want you to look deeper into the concept and the nature of the African Union. What is the concept? When Kwame Nkrumah and Co met, they did not start an African Union because you cannot have a union and start fighting to unite, right? You cannot have a union when you are
not united.
When you're not united. So they said, let's have an organization of African unity.
Oh,
that organization, the role
should work on unification. It should work on. Should the African Union?
Not the African Union.
Organization of African Unity should work on unification of Africa.
Exactly.
But they changed it to AU, African Union, as if you're already united.
Exactly. So that's the problem. Is that a big problem?
That is Dr. Kojo.
That is the main problem facing
Kwame Nkrumah those days said we should have organization of African unity.
Exactly.
The purpose,
because they knew that we're not united.
The purpose was to work for our unity and unification.
Exactly.
In other words, we should become one.
Exactly.
But first we should unite. So there must be an organization.
We must be.
Now
united.
this one changed it from OAU to AU, yes. African Union, meaning you're already a union, like European Union.
Yeah, that is criminal. That is.
But European Union has one currency.
Exactly.
One passport.
Yeah, because they are a union.
No borders.
So why do we have an African Union?
Hey,
we don't have it. They should go back to the organization.
We go back again.
Yeah, and get. Yeah, of course. Even now, the African Union is not doing anything to unite this continent. Have you ever heard them hold any summit, any meeting on sovereignty? Have you ever heard them discuss sovereignty? Have you heard them talk about the opening statement, the first mandate, to defend the sovereignty of the continent, of the African people? Is that what they are doing?
Actually, what they are doing. When the African leaders were aboard the plane to Libya,
yeah,
NATO told them stop there. That was the time AU to come out. Who are you to stop us? Who are you to tell us don't go on the land of Africa to solve African problem? President Museveni talked about it.
Yeah, he did. The thing is this.
That was the time of AU to now stand bold and say, please, NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Yeah, it's a treaty organization.
No, but they have the capacity to stop African leaders.
The whole continent.
Don't go there.
The whole people.
We want him dead. And the AU is quiet.
You get the point. And that's always the issue of where. Have you ever had Africans sitting anywhere in any of those meetings to discuss the sovereignty of the people of Africa? That never happened. Now, if you are sovereign, NATO, because Kwame Nkrumah's agenda and his team's agenda for Africa was to have a united armed forces.
Yes, one army,
the African army. Are you getting the
point? America has one army.
Exactly.
United States of America, one army.
Exactly. We're supposed to have one political system. We're supposed to have one foreign policy. And for me, yeah, we are supposed to have one representative, one mission in every nation on this earth. Not 54, 55, 56. Yeah. If we were united, we should have one mission in Britain. One person goes to the UN. Are you getting the point? It should be one, just not one 54. Representative. You know how much money we are spending maintaining 54 foreign missions. It doesn't make sense.
You make a point, because Dr. Kojo Ablode, today if I'm a businessman and I want to trade with EU, European Union, I will discuss with the delegation of European Union.
Exactly.
You get it?
Yeah.
I will go and discuss with the delegation of European Union.
Exactly.
If you want to trade with America, I will go and discuss with United States of America. Exactly. One team.
Exactly.
When the same want to do business with us, they discuss individually. Rwanda, Kenya. That's why right now you hear Ruto has gone and made a deal with Biden to become a non-NATO ally. But you, my friend, that's not to the interest of the rest of the East African region. That is for your own interest.
Exactly. And that is where the African Union has failed.
Yes. You know, actually, the African Union would come and...
it has failed the African people. Because of the African Union, Africa is not developing. Our development is locked in the African Union.
Hey.
Exactly. Because they have
African
the mandate.
Union.
Yes, African Union is our problem. How?
Explain.
Europe, they are still expanding, the European Union, but they have a union, and they speak with one voice. And when you're going to face Europe, you face the same person, or the same group of people who speak for all the states within the union. True?
That's true.
America has a federal system, and it is the federal government that speaks for all of them. They have one president. Are you getting the point? Even in Europe, the European Commission has one president. And they are the ones who go anywhere you want to see Europe. But for us, when we have to go anywhere, because of the failure of the African Union to do what they are expected to do, let the African Union deliver. I'm coming. Excuse me. Let the African Union. They are the problem. Don't let us pretend. Can you and I get up
before African Union?
Can we perform the functions of the African Union? You and I, no. The African Union's mandate number one is to defend the sovereignty of the African people. They are not even thinking about it. They are not talking about it. There is no discussion whatsoever about the sovereignty of the African people. And you are saying they are not our problem. The African Union was established in 1965, and I ask this question most of the time. And yes, their role is to unite the continent. How long does the Organization of African Union itself, the original one, need to declare a single boundary? Introduce a single currency, unify the armed forces, unify the educational system, unify the health systems, unify the economy, unify everything that we have so Africans can refer to themselves as Africans. How long should it take? They callously and criminally converted the organization, which they have not done anything about, and created an African Union. To make us think that we are united, which is not true. We are not a union. Why are they calling us a union?
AU, African Union.
It is not there. It's a fallacy. It's a lie.
So it should go back to OAU.
We should go back to the Organization of African Union, Unity, with a clear agenda for them to say in the next 5 years,
we should be here.
We should be here and deliver that. The African Organization of African Unity was created in 1963 in Addis Ababa when it was launched. In Ethiopia. Now they have an agenda 2063. How many years? 1963 to 2063 is how many years?
Let me calculate here.
It's 100 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Does it make sense to you?
Where will I be?
Where will they be? Not you. Those who created Agenda 2063, where will they be? Where will they be?
So are they stretching it that far so that we are not able to take stock?
No, so the system can continue running, their masters.
You keep waiting. Oh no, we are waiting for 2063.
The point is
we are moving.
They are not serving the interest of the African people. The African Union does not listen to the African people. We are talking about sovereignty. And I told you, sovereignty is zero tolerance for external interference, influence, domination, control, zero tolerance. if the
economic independence,
economic sovereignty, don't call it independence. Sovereignty brings independence. Sovereignty brings independence.
Very good.
If you are sovereign, we shall develop economically. This is iron ore.
What is this?
This is iron ore. It's a stone, but you can see it's rusting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all over the continent, everywhere.
And
right?
so,
yeah. If we are sovereign, we will design our knowledge systems to teach about these things. We will not be teaching Baba Black Sheep. Have you any word in our schools?
No, they are teaching about the German Revolution.
Exactly.
Zinjastropas.
Who told us to teach that? Did we just get up and start teaching the European history, the Renaissance, French Revolution?
The first one to discover the source of River Nile. John Speak.
That is rubbish. That is total rubbish.
But John Speak was taken there
by
Musoga.
Yeah, exactly.
He told him this is the source
where
of the
Nile.
thing
starts from.
So this one was not a man.
No.
This was a dog.
Exactly.
The Musoga was a dog.
Exactly.
So the first one to discover the European one.
Yeah, that's how much they don't respect us. And there is no reason why we should continue tolerating these things. The African Union, if they have failed, they should accept and get back to track. They should go back.
So this stone, where did you get it?
This is from Uganda, from somewhere in the east called Manafwa.
Manafwa?
Yeah, I've been there.
Iron ore?
Yeah.
In Manafwa?
They showed me 3 mountains. It's all iron ore. A whole village. Every piece of stone you find is iron ore.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I went to Rumba. I went to where they collected maram to fill the road for tamakin.
And
it's all iron ore. I went to their primary school compound, and the people are poor, and they have no knowledge of the.
They got iron ore.
Not they got. They live with iron ore.
They live, and what I'm saying,
it's in their land.
They take it to make the road.
Yeah,
in other words, our cars are riding on iron ore.
Yeah, people are sleeping on iron ore. Cars are driving on iron ore. You know. Yeah, that's what it is. But the truth of the matter is that the theory, the economic theory.
So how do you?
This is magnetic. This particular one is magnetic. If you put a magnet on it, it will hold.
Hey, this is how you know that this is iron ore.
Yeah, there, but the one in Kabale is not magnetic.
So if it is just a stone,
it's not just
this magnet will not.
Cannot pick it, no.
Hey.
Yeah, because it has iron.
This is magnetic.
Yeah, that's magnetic.
And people in the Manaf are using it to simply make a road.
Not them, the contractors.
The contractors
who build the road for Tamaki. They use the gravel they collected.
You from Ghana, you traveled to eastern Uganda called the Manaf, and you picked this.
I go to many places on the continent. Africa is my home. I'm not.
So the people of Manaf, do they know the importance of this?
Yeah, there's a professor who knows about it.
Only one professor.
Yeah, one. He got a point of, I think, training in Russia or something in metallurgy, and he ended up learning about iron ore.
So maybe help us. What do we do? What products do we get from iron ore? What's the importance?
A room.
Hey.
The building you sleep in cannot stand without iron. You use iron.
These metals.
All these engines, machines, factories, cars, ships, railway tracks, railway carriages, nails. You have iron ore in everything. Everywhere you pass, there are products made from iron ore.
The people of Manafwa don't know.
Not only the people of Manafwa, even you don't know. You went to school. Did they teach you about iron? So how do you know?
They told me about the German Revolution.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't know. I doubt even if the ministers of minerals in Africa ever wake up and think about iron.
So
I don't think they do.
So when you're talking about sovereignty of a continent, we're talking about the wealth of a continent.
The sovereignty has a lot of components. What we are talking about is economic sovereignty.
Do we have economic sovereignty?
We don't have. Cultural sovereignty we don't have because our cultures have been suppressed through colonialism.
We don't have economic sovereignty. We don't have
even the political sovereignty. We don't have
political sovereignty.
No, we don't
but
have
we elect our leaders every 5 years. Rwanda just elected their leader yesterday.
Let me give you the.
Rwanda just had the elections yesterday. The Rwandese were seen in the queuing.
You know,
there was no European there.
Those are just.
I didn't see any white man in the queue.
Things they give you, you accept, or you copy, you practice without understanding, without any knowledge. Yours is wait for every 5 years, you do the same thing. But development is not about such procedures. We are not politically sovereign. If we are politically sovereign, we resist any form of political interference. Have you ever sent observers to any American elections?
I see the American observers here.
So what are they doing?
Are also
when you cannot go there? Sovereignty is an equal platform. Are you getting the point? And please, for our viewers, sovereignty is simply zero tolerance for foreign interference. I repeat that. Zero tolerance for foreign, any form of foreign interference. So let's put Africa out there and see whether we have foreign interference and in which areas.
Political.
Exactly, we are not sovereign.
Are you sure?
How?
We elect our leaders.
You don't see any interference?
No.
In our political systems.
How? Explain. I don't see.
Okay, now the African Union sits, and Israel sends somebody to go and sit there and observe. The UN sends somebody to go and observe. World Bank. This interference I'm talking about by any state or any organization. It's not just about state to state. The definition also includes organizations. So the World Bank, IMF interference in Africa through our political system to disrupt our economy is not acceptable.
Economic interference? Are we
are not economically sovereign.
Why? How?
When the World Bank has people sitting in all our central banks.
In Ghana, in
Africa.
In Ghana, there is a representative from World Bank seated in
even where you come from, everywhere. If we had unified, we'd have a central bank with a central currency. If we were a union, we'd have a central bank. We don't have a central bank. We don't have a single currency.
In Africa?
Yeah, even our culture has been suppressed. Our cultural sovereignty has been taken away. We are bombarded with all kinds and forms of things on television, and we follow them. So don't you see the extent of interference in our affairs? And who is supposed to lead? Whose mandate is it to establish, to make sure that we gain our sovereignty and not to cede our sovereignty? What are other people sitting in the African Union deliberations for? On a serious note, we haven't started this whole thing, this process that we have been fighting for the last 10 years. We're in the 11th year. We have not started because the fundamental issue is our sovereignty. Nobody should come here and tell us what to do.
But what if we are doing wrong things against the people? Because the people belong to the world, and the world is a global village. So if they leave
who is saying that? That is an interference. In Africa, we don't live in a world. Yeah, the world is a system. We live on earth. Human beings by nature live on earth. The world is a system created by a few people for the purpose of disrupting and dominating their sovereignties. The world is a system. That's why it has a health organization. That's why it has a bank. The world is a system. Take it from me. Human beings live on Mother Earth, and we survive on the provisions of the Mother Earth. The world is taking away our food and giving us GMOs. The world is taking our herbs and giving us pills and injections. That is all business. The world only cares about business. They don't care about people. They just want to make money. The seeds my grandfather used to plant, harvest, and keeps the best, and replants and plants again and again and again. Today we are planting seeds that we cannot replant, and all of us are quiet.
GMO.
Yeah.
Monsanto.
Yeah.
That is Monsanto
exactly,
now.
Yeah. Those are the guys. What are they looking for in a poor man's home? If they say Africa is the poorest continent, they should leave us alone. Actually, we are the ones tolerating them. We should stop them. Our leaders should stop going to the World Bank. We have enough resources. Are you getting me? To finance our budgets. We have enough resources to develop our continent. The challenge we have is that we don't even know what drives development. There are only two things that drive development.
Number one?
Knowledge.
The brain.
Not the brain.
Yeah.
The brain everybody has. But the knowledge the brain carries.
Oh, the knowledge the brain carries.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, even a madman has brains.
Of course.
But knowledge is a problem.
Knowledge is Africa, the problem is knowledge.
All of us have brain, but knowledge.
Knowledge is the issue.
Number two?
Number two is the resources.
Africa will have resources.
Yeah, so there are two things here. We have the human beings, but the human beings must bear a certain knowledge. Then we have the environment, which must bear certain resources.
Resources.
Are you getting the point? Now, if we can train our
Combine
people,
the two.
those are the only two things you need to develop.
So it means the mother Africa, the motherland, has given us the biggest component.
Nature of all the resources.
Yes, we have the resources.
We have.
We have the brains.
We have the brain we don't have.
No.
Okay, the brain we have. We have the environment.
What we don't have is knowledge.
What we don't have is knowledge. And knowledge about what? Knowledge about ourselves, which is our history.
Knowledge about our mineral resources.
And our resources. That's all that we need to develop. We don't need anything.
Mother Nature gave us the resources.
Exactly. Gave us the brain.
Gave us the brain.
Yeah. But we need
what we don't have in the brain is knowledge.
Yeah, what we don't have in the brain is the right knowledge. No, people have knowledge. You go to school for 23, 24 years, you come out, everybody says you have graduated. Family is happy. You yourself, you are very happy. But you step out of the gates of the university and you get confused. Your knowledge doesn't fit anywhere. You don't know that. That's why our young people are graduating and they are still in the streets looking for what to do.
They're looking for jobs.
What knowledge do they have? They don't know about iron ore. Nobody taught them about it. They don't know about the diamonds, the uranium.
These people from Manafa, they leave this iron ore, they come to Kampala and they to look for jobs.
Yeah, they come looking for jobs.
When this
the system is designed. I told you the world is a system. The system, we don't have sovereignty even over our knowledge, over our own resources. We have no say. Chinese, Russians, everybody is rushing here. Not because they love the African people so much. They are all here because of our resources. But the unfortunate thing is that there is no African who is teaching any African about the resources that we have. Very sad. No, man. We have schools. Parents are looking, I say this every time. Parents are looking for money to pay school fees. And their children are coming out with knowledge, which has no place in the society. You get the point?
Miseducation.
Today we are talking, not miseducation, it's deliberate.
No, I'm saying they have deliberately give you miseducation.
Yeah.
Deliberately.
No, it's
they have set the syllabus.
Exactly.
They have set the syllabus to deliberately misinform you.
Exactly.
About your own.
About yourself.
Focus on them.
Exactly.
Forget about yourself.
No, just to forget about yourself. Even if you don't focus on them.
Miseducation, which is deliberate.
Which is deliberate. Which is deliberate. Why don't you teach your children about what you have? Why can't we know that iron ore has value? Why is nobody teaching anyone that this iron ore, if you look at the value chain, from prospecting to mining to smelting to the various products that come out of iron. Do you know how many jobs will be created on the continent if we have schools teaching about the minerals that we have? So my proposal, because once I bring up the issue, I must provide solution. My solution to the knowledge development of the African people is one. We are not going to disrupt the systems we have, but we just have to make them work for us. I said our sovereignty requires the African Union to to give us one boundary, one central bank, one currency, one army, one policy for every sector, including foreign policy, one representation wherever people want to meet us. The African Union must do that. Now, once they do that, they give us one educational system. The African educational system, traditional, indigenous and knowledge development system, is built on apprenticeship. 100% learning. And then they add life skills. You don't give the same education to everyone. Okay? But now we have lost that. What we have today is primary education through to secondary, through to university, blah, blah, blah. My proposal to the African governments, as the African Union continues to fail all of us,
you have already condemned them.
I'm not condemning, I'm just being honest. How does it take you 100 years? Why did they smuggle the African Union and took away the organization? We talked about that earlier, but why should it be so? Get the continent organized, unified, then you can say now we have a union, therefore we can have an African Union. We are not. A union creates one state, not many states coming together and not coming together, independent, doing what they want, listening to who they choose to, and you say we are a union. That is not true. But my two things only. The educational system. We need to
overhaul it.
We need to stop listening to anybody about
African education system.
Primary school must be handled by the ministries of education on the continent.
That's what they're doing. Ministry of Education.
They stop at primary school. And they only teach colonialism because the implications of colonialism are determining our development. They teach our children about colonization and colonialism, including neo-colonialism. They should teach our children about our resources. In the history, they should also teach them about slavery. Our children should know why you find Africans in America and in some parts of Europe. What made it happen? They should know.
What's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem? They teach them now about sovereignty, our sovereignty, and teach them about our resources in primary school. Then they add technology and other things to it. But basically, they should teach our children about who we are, what we have. What we have in more details. In details, not just iron ore. Where can you find iron ore in Uganda? And they tell you Kabale, Manafua, then you score 10 over 10. That is not enough. It is not knowledge.
No, what can iron ore do?
What is it capable of doing? How is it capable of influencing our
economic
development? Like
economic
I said,
sovereignty.
Yeah, we don't have any form of sovereignty. Cultural sovereignty, economic, political. We have no sovereignty. So
now, what should we do, Mr. Dr. Kojo Ablode?
First thing is that we should hold the African Union accountable to their mandate.
They've been hoodwinking us.
Yeah. They're just there. And I don't know how they got there.
And here their offices were built by Chinese.
I think how can Chinese build your? So how can you? Where is your sovereignty if Chinese are building the headquarters of your so-called union? Where's your sovereignty? When the United Nations sits there, when they have the European Union, when the World Bank carry their chairs and come and sit there, doing what? And sovereignty is about
working with you on your development.
Zero
These are called development partners. You know, they are called development partners.
You see, you're laughing. It is not there. It is not there.
Development partners.
We have more resources than those so-called development partners. You know, the world runs on systems. And there are three pillars of colonization. Okay, education, religion, politics. But we shall not go into that today. But all these things are systems. All these are systems. Are you getting me? They create an educational system
created by the colonial masters.
Yeah, of course. We are still maintaining the system.
The system.
And the system is designed to produce a specific outcome, outputs. And those outputs must give you some outcomes and make a particular impact. So once you remain in that system, what comes out cannot be different.
And it can't be in your interest.
And no, the world is not in our interest. They don't come here because they love us so much.
Dr. Kojo Ablode from Ghana is a environment expert. I'm here just at his home, hosted me here. I've been chatting with him. Is Africa sovereign? What does it mean when they say you are sovereign, you are independent? Because sovereignty means that you have the capacity to determine
Power,
authority,
to control
your resources, your people,
your resources. The human beings
so
are also
on.
resources. Yeah.
So the African continent doesn't have sovereignty over any sector, but individual African countries do have territorial sovereignty over their land. Just that, to say Uganda ends here, Kenya starts there. That one you manage.
Even that is not true. It's not absolutely correct. No. But don't you see many African countries giving land to other, other people? You have not seen it.
Africa giving land.
Yeah, African governments giving land to so-called investors.
Chinese investors are here.
Yeah.
They have been given free land.
Exactly. So
but it's us, the owners, giving.
Yeah, but then because you don't know what to use it for. Your education system doesn't teach about the values. The Chinese who know.
It's always a pleasure, Dr. Kojo Ablode, meeting you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My name is Andrew Irumba Katsabe, your speaker. We are powered by NBS Television, The Spy Uganda, and Detective UG.
Don't go and take off what I'm going to say. Where people who are called Andrews come from, when you go there and say, I belong to you, they will chase you. You are an African. You are not an Andrew. Don't take it off from the recording.